Hello, everyone. I have another fun build for you. I started this when I heard about the for rent pack, and it's actually something I've thought of doing for a while, but of course was like, well, we can't really use it. So, what I am building in front of you right now is a small little island hut village. Um, I guess I call it a village, maybe neighborhood. I didn't put like any community, like, store, gym, or anything like that. So maybe, a collection of small island homes. Um, what my thought was with this is to kind of create a fun little rental community of just some tiny, not tiny homes, but smaller sized homes where your Sims could live as either a family unit or maybe it's just rentals. You could rent it to families as a vacation home if you don't have for rent. There's lots you could do with it. Now, that being said, as I go through this video, you will see I only furnish 3 of these buildings. And that's for multiple reasons. One, the video would be probably 40 minutes to an hour long at least if I went through and did all of them. The other thing is due to everybody telling me they would like to decorate their own. So instead of me decorating everything, I decided to kind of try to split this build up. And I've been doing this with a few other builds too. Is not furnish everything for these builds. Now, that being said, if you want me to, as always, I will gladly go through and furnish these other units and upload them as rooms. Just let me know in the comments if that's something you would like to see. Or like to have me do, I guess, really. However, I think, having the availability to do whatever you want with the other 3 buildings will be a lot of fun. There's a lot of things you could do. You could turn them into indoor community spaces. Maybe you put a laundry faculty in one of these. I didn't want to limit what you could do with this lot by furnishing all of these as homes. So lots of fun little options. Maybe you decide you don't even want all these homes on this lot. You could delete them. However, you may have to play with the landscaping I do later. Okay, because, there's a lot of fun landscaping in this one. But really my goal with this whole build was just to allow you some creativity, some fun with it, but at the same time, put in some furnished units that you could either begin renting right away or use right away and then build it up. Another fun gameplay idea I had with this was maybe you inherited this lot from somebody or won it in something and it's, only half finished. A couple of little things you could do with this. So anyway, back to this build and what I'm doing here. This hut is supposed to be kind of your cheapy starter hut. And you'll see as I go through this, I realize I have a lot of counters. Yep, right there. I take out a couple. And I'm like, no, if this was a starter hut, it wouldn't have so much in it. So that was kind of my thought process with this first one. Now, going forward, not quite the thought with the rest of them, but this is definitely kind of your more starter or, somebody's down on their luck and had to move into this type hut. Also, while I'm thinking about it, plus it's starting to aggravate me. I have been sick for the last week. And so if you notice that I'm, I stopped talking for a moment, It's because I can't talk for a minute. I might be coughing, whatever. I'm going to try to edit that stuff out. But if you notice that my speech is kind of scattered, that might be why. So anyway, moving on to this second home, and this one is the one that I kind of pictured as maybe the main island home. And, I was thinking more along the lines of maybe this is a family community, and this would be where grandma and grandpa lived, or the main family, if you want to do that. So this is kind of set up also for a generations type gameplay that you could start in this home, maybe rent out the others, and then move the kids into each house as as they age up. And so I designed this house with that in mind, as this being kind of the main house. Again, do what you want with it, but that was my thought process. I also, with this one, wanted to make it a little more upscale, a little more ritzy. So, it's got an island vibe, but it's more of an upscale island vibe than a down on your luck island vibe. So I really do love how this turned out. And I say that about all my builds. I hope that I love how all my builds turn out, because I'm the one who designed them. I will be honest, there's probably a few that could be better, but that's where you guys come in to improve it, right? Anyway, so this home has 3 bathrooms, 4 bedrooms, and then this downstairs area. And you'll notice here that I haven't put in like a dining area. That is because in my thought process was, let's put the dining room outside. If I lived on a tropical island and the weather was good most of the year, I would have my dining table outside. Okay? I would want to be outside as much as possible. So that was where I went with this. The other thing with this build is I wanted it light airy, so I put in this big opening that does lead out to where the dining table is. But as I was building, I kind of went through and went, I want to do something with that open area. But I also was trying to keep this build as base game, for rent, and island living only. Now it is mostly island living, and base game. But there is some for rent thrown throughout. You can kind of tell where I got the for rent pack in the build process, because I've actually been working on this build since, I want to say, the beginning of November. And just, didn't get back to it. I tried a couple times. It just wasn't inspired. So I'm like, no, I'm going to wait until I actually really want to finish this up. And that happened to be today, actually. So I finished that up and decided to start my voiceover for it. So anyway, so you can see here, I'm kind of doing the outdoor area and trying to figure out how I want all of this to work. I wanted kind of a back step out to, the back, the yard, whatever you want to consider all of that. So I had to change a few things, but I really do love how this ended up turning out. The other thing I realized is that we really don't have a whole lot of plants for the island living pack. So I created my own, and I love them, and I'm going to do this more often. So the other thing you can see here is I did kind of close off that doorway a little bit with this divider, and I love how this turned out. I'm going to do that again, or something similar to that again, if I do another island living build. I've done a few, and I had another house I didn't do a build for. I didn't do a speed build video for. And it was just this huge thing, and it had so many of those openings. I'm like, oh, I should have done that in every one of those. But I didn't. I don't think I've uploaded that one to the gallery either. I'll go take a look. I might have. But I might not have. I wasn't thrilled with that build. It was kind of a gameplay build. So it wasn't, I went in with the intention of building the house. It just kind of appeared. But anyway, here I had some trouble figuring out what to put in this corner. I wanted some light, put in something. Something had to fill that spot. And I finally figured it out. And I think it works pretty well. I think I intended on putting fans in every room. I don't think I did though. So the main room does have fans in it, but I don't think I put them in all the kids' rooms. Now, that being said, there's only 2 kids' rooms, and then the final room I kind of designed as a maybe guest room for a single person because there's only a single bed in it. But I just thought that would work well. Maybe they have, a kid that, grew up already and moved out, or it would be very easy to transfer that one into a nursery if you want to move a family in here with an infant or a toddler or something. So the other thing is just trying to figure out these curtains, and I really wish that they would go back and give us just that middle bar to put between these curtains. I don't mind using them. I just wish it looked like they would go all the way across. That's a hint, Sims. I know technically they're supposed to put them closer together so that it looks that way. Not when you have these big windows, okay? When you have big windows, you can't do that. All right, so anyway, working on the bathroom and just kind of putting in, the outdoor shower. I put that one in because, again, I'm trying to stick to island living and base game and a little bit of for rent. So kind of tried to stick with that, and I thought that worked well in that corner. And then just put a regular shower into the, I guess you say main kids' bathroom. And then just kind of finishing up a few things here, getting some rugs in. I put a desk down here. And just some little odds and ends with this one. And I will say I use that candle all over, that Island Living candle. I love that thing. I really do. All right, so the last little hut that I decorated is this one. And I went with not really a starter vibe. So this is kind of an in-between starter, better home thing. And so still tried to keep it kind of cheap, but not too cheap, okay? This also has a little more of the for rent items in it, as I had the pack at this point. I did have it with the end little bit of the last house, but I didn't think about using it at that point. So I will say I did go back in and put in some rugs, because that is what I intended to do, was to add a couple of the for rent rugs because we had already seen them. So you'll notice, if you remember, a few minutes ago, the living room doesn't have a rug. It does in the final build. And I put in the nice, pretty tropical for rent rug. So here I'm just trying to add in some clutter. I end up taking the top shelves off because I realized I just didn't have enough clutter without having to do a lot of, moving things. And I'm like, I don't want to do all that. So just put in one shelf each. And then just moved on to the bedroom. And I wanted to create kind of a nice, basic, kind of cool tropic feel to this room, and I think I pulled it off pretty well. I also struggled with these dressers, so I sized down this one from For Rent, put it in, and I think that's one of the few furniture pieces I use. The rest of it are the curtains and some rugs. So again, if you don't have For Rent and want to download this, you should still really be able to, with just a few minor tweaks. And really, the game should be replacing all that. So it's just if you don't like what the game puts in. Okay, so here I'm just kind of mapping out where I want pathing to go, where I want all of the plants to go. And I decided to use the greenery because, I mean, it's got to grow somewhere, right? And I don't think it's going to grow out of the sand. So we're just going to say that there's, some greenery here. Uh, and I really do love how this ends up looking. I love landscaping. I really do. And this turned out exactly like how my mind wanted it to be. I mean, I don't want to say exactly, but the vibe I was going for is exact. So very tropical, very lush, uh, and just, it has that feel of a, cozy, gathering space island, hut that you might find if you go to a vacation spot, you know. So the other thing is I wanted the island living, I guess, grill, fire pit, cooking pit. I can't remember what it's called. Bear with me. I'm on medication, okay? Um and so I wanted that in the center, and then I was like, oh, maybe the fire pit could go there. And I realized no. So I put it back over here in the corner. And I really do think this uses this area really well because I wasn't sure what I was going to put back here. But I like that it's separate from the rest of, the community space here. I also put a little swing because, I don't know, I just thought this would be a good spot for one. Um, and yeah, because, it's near the family home, so they can go right outside and play on the swing for the kids. So I didn't put a lot of kid stuff in this on the outside just because I didn't know what you wanted to do with it. All right, so here's the finished product, and let's take a look at the rest of it. All right, so we've come to the end of the build, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed building it. Now, I do want to note, I did not add windows to the houses I did not decorate, so I did that on purpose because I don't know where you're going to put rooms. So, let me know what you guys do with this if you download it and decorate those. Make sure to share them with me. All right, I do hope you guys are having a wonderful day and a happy new year. We'll see you soon. Bye now.